What does it even mean to truly know something anymore? You know, that profound question from a recent Notebook LM tutorial really drops us right into the heart of our new technological reality. I mean, we're generating answers instantly now, but understanding exactly how we're getting those answers? That has literally never been more critical.
Welcome to this explainer. Today, we are unpacking a massive, fundamental shift in how we work and learn. The era of the one-size-fits-all AI? Yeah, that officially died in 2026. So we're going to dig into the hard data and show you exactly how to build your ultimate, highly specialized AI toolkit. Here's our roadmap for today. We'll cover Part 1, the future of knowledge, 2, the AI search wars, 3, privacy and niche search, 4, the reasoning heavyweights, 5, real-world AI performance, and wrap up with 6, choosing your AI arsenal. All right, Part 1, the future of knowledge, moving beyond the 10 blue links. Let's look at how the very foundation of internet research has fundamentally shifted.
Think about it. For 25 years, Google didn't just dominate search, they practically owned it. But now, AI engines aren't just tossing you 10 blue links and crossing their fingers that you click the right one. They are actually out there reading those links for you. They synthesize the information, cite their sources right there in line, and hand you a verified answer. The promise has been floating around for years, but the execution is finally, actually, caught up.
Which brings us to Part 2, the AI search wars. We're talking Perplexity versus ChatGPT versus Google. A recent independent evaluation tested 50 highly complex queries against the biggest names in the industry just to see who actually delivers. When you break down the results, the sheer divergence in strategy is totally fascinating. Perplexity ended up winning the testing by focusing purely on sourced research, acting as a true research champion. Meanwhile, Google is optimizing for raw speed and tapping into its massive web index. And ChatGPT? It takes a completely different route. It acts way more like a conversational AI with built-in search tools, rather than just a pure search engine.
And 12 minutes. That number right there perfectly highlights the paradigm shift we're in. Deep, traditional research that used to take upwards of 5 hours, clicking through links, constantly cross-referencing claims, now takes just 12 minutes with Perplexity Pro Search. It synthesizes, it cites, and it verifies all in a fraction of the time. It's wild.
But you have to notice the contrast here. ChatGPT is incredibly powerful because it keeps everything in one seamless thread. You can search, analyze data, and generate a code script all at the exact same time. The catch? Its citations are stuck at the bottom, which makes fact-checking kind of tedious. On the flip side, Google AI mode is blazingly fast. We're talking 1 to 3 seconds. But it really struggles with multi-step reasoning. It's built for quick answers, not deep research.
Moving on to Part 3, privacy and niche search. Brave Search and Find. Let's see how these niche engines are tackling very specific user problems that the major players are kind of just ignoring.
Look, if you're tired of pretending that incognito mode actually does anything, Brave Search AI is going to be your best friend. It offers a truly independent index with zero tracking, no profiling whatsoever, and fully free AI responses. Now sure, it sacrifices a tiny bit of coverage for super niche topics compared to Google, but if absolute privacy is your goal, it's the clear choice. Meanwhile, you've got Find, operating entirely in its own lane, exclusively for developers. It pulls highly accurate answers straight from code repositories and official documentation, completely bypassing all that general search clutter. It even understands weird framework edge cases and plugs directly into VS Code. But, a heads up, try asking it a normal, non-technical question, and it is comically off base. It's a specialist, through and through.
All right, Part 4, the reasoning heavyweights, the leap to raw processing power. Stepping away from search engines for a minute, let's explore the massive architectural innovations defining 2026. A recent research paper, published on preprints.org, detailed the launch of Anthropic's Claude Opus 4.6. And honestly, this marks a really pivotal moment. We are officially moving away from the old strategy of just blindly throwing more parameters at a model. Now, the focus is all on highly sophisticated architectural design, massive extended context, and incredibly complex reasoning capabilities. The real secret to its unbelievable efficiency is something called a mixture of experts, or MOE architecture. Basically, it uses 64 specialized neural networks, and it dynamically routes your prompt to activate only 4 to 8 of them per token, depending on the specific task. So it doesn't have to fire up all 300 billion parameters at once.
You get massive model capacity alongside a 3 to 5 times improvement in computational efficiency. It's brilliant.
So how does this actually compare to the competition? Well, take OpenAI's GPT 5.3 Codex, which was released literally minutes after Claude 4.6. Codex relies on a dense, heavily quantized and distilled architecture that is strictly optimized for code generation and deployment efficiency. It is a completely different philosophical approach to building a massive model.
But Claude Opus 4.6 definitely takes the crown when it comes to scale, boasting a staggering 1 million token context window. That is a 4 times increase over its predecessor. To put that in perspective, it means the model can process roughly 2,000 pages of text or an entire sprawling legacy code base in a single thought without losing coherence.
And you know, that architectural advantage absolutely shows up in the data. When tested on the extremely rigorous human eval Python benchmark, Claude slightly edges out both GPT 5.3 Codex and Google's highly multimodal Gemini 2.5 Pro. It just proves the sheer power of its deliberative reasoning framework, which is fantastic at breaking really complex problems down into manageable subtasks.
Let's dive into Part 5, Real-World AI Performance. Moving beyond the benchmarks, it's time to translate all these complex numbers into actual, real-world utility across demanding industries. Because at the end of the day, how these things perform out in the wild is what really matters.
Just think about some of these applications. We're seeing multiple Claude instances autonomously coordinating with each other to build a functioning C compiler with barely any human intervention. We're watching AI navigate ridiculously complex construction regulations and even jumping into medical coding workflows, hitting 66% F1 accuracy on highly complex procedures. These models are proving their industrial worth far, far beyond just being simple chatbots.
And we absolutely have to give a shout out to GLM 4.6. This is the open-weight alternative that is achieving benchmark scores generally within just 2 to 5% of the massive proprietary giants. It gives organizations total deployment flexibility, transparency, and drastically lower operational costs. For high-volume applications, it's an incredibly attractive option.
Which brings us to our final section, Part 6, Choosing Your AI Arsenal, the definitive 2026 scorecard. With all this data spread across specialized search engines and massive reasoning models, how do you actually pick the right tools for your specific workflow?
Here is your definitive scorecard for 2026. Use Perplexity for your deep, verified research. Turn to Google AI mode for lightning-fast, simple lookups. Switch over to Brave Search if privacy is your absolute top priority. Boot up Find exclusively for your coding questions. And for heavy-duty multi-step reasoning and whole code-base analysis, Claude Opus 4.6 is your go-to heavyweight.
Ultimately, while hallucinations are drastically down across the board, these systems still aren't flawless. They are only ever as reliable as the effort you put into verifying them. You have to treat them as a starting point, not the final conclusion. So the real question I want to leave you with today is this: how are you going to apply human verification to build something genuinely incredible with your new AI arsenal?